Getting started with building ministry teams here at the Better Sunday podcast at reachkeep.com. Welcome to the Better Sundays podcast, focused, practical, and usable advice for church leaders looking to reach new young families and impact their community. Well, howdy. Mike Holmes here. It is good to have you in studio today on your computer, your phone, wherever you happen to be. We are talking about building ministry teams and getting started with building these teams. We're going to be dealing with healthy ministry teams at another time, but in continuing our leadership training on communication, we're going to be talking specifically about ministry teams and how you need to, as the leader, communicate to create those teams and to kind of get them started. Now, this is sort of beginner stuff here. If you have teams that you've had for a long time, you're going to have plenty of experience at some of this. If you have some that have been around for a long time, they're already established. There's probably some ground rules, in your meeting and some of that. But we're talking about in a church plant where you're trying to maybe get something going in a revitalization, sometimes this is called, where you are trying to stimulate and get some soulmates, get some people that be on board with you and create some teams that'll get some things done. So we're going to be jumping into that. For those of you that don't know, I'm Mike, the founding pastor here in Sinclair Baptist in Wyoming, and just thrilled to have you here. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on with Reach Keep right now. Been spending a lot of time, we do some coaching, and we're going to be opening up some of our coaching, our academy before long. I know we've had some questions. Someone wrote the other day, said, hey, I can't find it, and I can't get to it. It's like, well, we got it all hidden right now. We got to shut down. But we have this academy where we train people, and then we have some coaching where we do some one-on-one stuff, and very excited about how all that's going. Had some great coaching sessions this week with pastors and youth pastors together, okay? It's like me talking with your staff, a lot of Q&A stuff, and talking through some of your specific things, and that's what we're here for. So anyway, thrilled to be here. Let's talk about ministry teams and this idea of getting started with building them. So the biggest question we have on this, and it usually comes up when we're talking about this, is that I don't, it's not even a question. It's like a comment. It's like, I don't have a team. I don't have anyone. I'm all alone. Okay. And you might be feeling that way. You might be the lone pastor that's out there. Not that you want to be a lone ranger, but there is really no one else that is doing that. So I want to talk a little bit about how to put that together, because you are a leader, and as a leader, you're going to have to put some of these things together to bring people together and to make it happen. Now, remember our saying that we started a few weeks ago. People, you leaders lead people, okay? Managers manage things. All right, let me say that again. So leaders lead people and managers manage things. So this is the idea of how this works, that when you're working with people, that you got to be a leader, and when you're working just with things, inventory and some of that, you need to be a manager. Well, the truth is that there's many things that you manage that are very deeply around people, and that's where we have to kind of this blend. We kind of put these two together. So you will be managing schedules and agendas and managing calendars and things like that in order to put your teams together, and that has to have good management. We're going to talk about that, and then how you lead them, we will talk about that. So let's just jump right into who these team people are that you have. The best team, or probably the most existing team that is already out there in your church system, is some type of governance board that is out there. These can be deacons or elders or trustees or directors. I mean, there's a lot of different names, and churches handle them different, and in some there's state requirements for different names that they are called. We are not really talking about those people. They could be involved on one of these teams, but a ministry team is a group of people that have a singular focus on a singular chunk of ministry, and their soul is into it. They have, as we call again, kind of the soul mate. They are like wanting to meet about this. You don't have to pay them. You don't have to talk to them. They're there all the time. They're ready to go. This is not a staff person, but someone that says, I am going to help you run that children's ministry, run that nursery, help that sound system. I'm dedicated. I'm going to help you with that food ministry, that outreach ministry, that big event. Sometimes they're just big events. So these are often people in the teaching position. Okay, so they are already a teacher, and they got a heart for expanding the teaching ministry and reaching more kids. They often are a worker who is like maybe beneath a teacher, maybe a helper or an assistant, or could be a worker volunteer around the building that is helping and doing a lot of things in your church facility and doing some stuff. Or they are just someone who has volunteered and said, I'm not sure where I fit in, but here I am. And those are some of the best in a way. They're like, hey, I'm behind you. Let's go. I've had many times when we've had some people that have jumped in to help, and they were not skilled in a particular area, but they had the attitude of, what here could use my assistance? Is there anything here I could do? I'm ready to help you, Pastor. My heart is with you. Let's go. That type of thing. And I think it's kind of like Jonathan's armor bearer back there in, 1 Samuel 14 approximately, where Jonathan says, hey, let's go do this task. And the younger guy, obviously, carried his sword and did some stuff, but he says, hey, my heart is with you. I'm here. Let's go get it. And then the two of them had this tremendous victory. That's what we mean by soulmate. So the who might need to expand a little bit. And again, it's better to have a meeting with one or two people. And by the way, a ministry team can be two, okay? If you're doing it by yourself, you're just ministering, that's not a problem, and there's a lot of things that are probably going to have that. But a ministry team can be 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you get much bigger than that, it gets inefficient. So you have, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere around that area, but they are with you, they are bonded to you, you are going the same direction, and you have solicited them for this specific ministry thing, or a specific ministry event in many cases. So, okay. Now, what if you don't, have any teams put together yet? And this is the idea. So you might have, let's take the children's ministry. You may already have a couple children's workers. You say, you know what, we're going to really work on focusing on reaching the moms and dads of our children. And so I'd like to have a meeting, to kind of talk about some ideas and, that type of stuff. I'd like you to come, and we're going to talk about that. Well, you may have no team at all, okay? In which case there's no children's workers, or like you're doing an event. And in that case, you're just basically having an impromptu group. You're basically saying, we're going to come together and do a task, and then we're going to disperse. In other words, you're not there for this long period of time, okay? They don't have to have an official membership, or be an official teacher, or be an official, event planner or whatever. Just keep in mind that your helpers, when you are starting to build a ministry team, that you're really putting together a loose net group of people for a singular purpose or single event. And if you get that down pat and ask people to get involved, that's the best way to do it. We've covered this in the past. One of the things that you want to do is make sure that you are, whiteboarding and, getting a place where you're kind of got a board and you're writing down ideas and you're kind of doing that brainstorming thing. The brainstorming thing is a tremendous way to get people involved, because everybody's ideas count. We're going to put them all up there, and you do some of that. But no matter who it is, remember that these are people that have soulmates. They have the soulmate feeling. It's not like you have to drag them to a meeting. They're just like, you say the word and I'll be there, that type of thing. They're ready to go and to help you, like the armor bearer helping Jonathan. So that's kind of the first thing, is sort of the idea of, if you don't have any team, you got to kind of put a couple loose people together. And remember, where 2 or 3 are gathered, there is great power, and there can be some great things that happen from that. And if you have 2 or 3 and it's focused in one area, man, you're in good shape. That is a great thing to do. Now, the second thing that I want to kind of cover here, before we get kind of sort of an agenda to kind of help you with the actual meeting itself, is I put together, it's like the three T's here. Have a good topic, meet at a table, and do it on a Tuesday, okay? Topic, table, Tuesday. Now, Tuesday, obviously, you can do anything, but it's the idea of off night. So let's cover this real quick. When you are starting to build a ministry team, and you're doing this, it is not like, hey, we're going to get a team together, and what all you want to do? Okay, how do you think we can do this? You have to have a topic already. You have to have a goal. You have to have something where you're already moving forward, and you've got some kind of concrete. So, like, we want to do a Christmas program. We want to do a series of summer picnics. topics. We want to do a sports camp. Talked to a guy this week that's interested in doing maybe like a sports camp and bringing people in, doing some training. So you have a topic already where you're kind of doing that. So you have this topic, okay? And then we have found that it is best to meet at a table. Do not sit people in straight rows and stand, up front in front of them. Make sure everyone is sitting down at the table. If you're wanting to really kind of get good discussion, don't sit at the head of the table. Sit at the side of the table, and put two tables together like that, and that you have kind of a bigger round thing if you need to. Rounderish tables work better than square longy tables. Okay, and sit at a table and meet and figure things out. Now, one of the alternatives to this that works really good is to have that topic and have that table and do that Tuesday. Okay, and what I mean by Tuesday, and then I'll go back and put them all together, is have it on an off night. Don't try to stick it at the end of a service or tie it into something because everyone's tired and they want to go home, or they're coming early, or they got to get the choir practice, or they got, this or that. Try to have it in an off night, off place, where you can do this. So a topic and the table, and you can do the table. This is a great thing to do. Just do it at one of your local fast food places and just say, hey, let's meet at Burger King or McDonald's. Let's sit down and talk. And the chairs are pretty uncomfortable, so that means the meeting's going to be short, okay? And you don't want a lengthy meeting. You want to just do the topic and get over and kind of, hit things. So, but go to some type of place like that, a neutral place, and you would be surprised the amount of ideas and stimulation that comes when you meet at a neutral place on a off night with a specific topic, okay? And again, don't have the topic all thought out and just like go to them for approval. You have the topic, and you're going to say, hey, we're trying to run, this fall back to school event. We'd like to do something in the park and get a bounce house and try to bring some families in somehow, but what do you think? And then let them run with that. So getting started with ministry teams a lot of it is just the logistics of meeting. And these meetings would be fairly irregular, okay? These are not what we would call a standing meeting, okay? It's going to be a topical meeting. What I mean by standing meeting is like every Tuesday night we're going to meet here. Every Wednesday, we're going to do this. This is just sort of the topical meeting. We're going to get it done, and when you're done with that, you'll move on to a further agenda. So let's talk about the agenda here, and then I've got a special thing that we're doing here I wanted to give you, so hang on for that. Special offer, some really cool training, video training stuff that we're sending out just absolutely free. On the agenda, okay, and I have learned that an agenda doesn't necessarily mean it has to all be typed out, and we start at this time, we give 10 minutes here, and 10 minutes here, and 10 minutes here, and 2 minutes there and 5 minutes there. You don't necessarily need that type of agenda, but you have an agenda with them that you are going to cover a specific topic, and there's going to be a specific time frame. And it could be 2 topics if you want. And I'm going to show you how to add one in at the end and make it a little bit longer. But the idea is you have an agenda and the people know when you're going to meet and when you're going to end. So let's meet down there at McDonald's. Let's meet at the church fellowship hall. Let's sit at one of those tables there at the coffee shop. And let's meet at 7:15, on Tuesday morning, or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Once you get off work, let's meet over there and let's just talk about that stuff, and we'll be done in 25 minutes. I usually set a short time, 25 minutes, kind of to get some things done. So they say, hey, that's what we're going to do. Okay. The next thing is at that agenda then is get your little small talk in. How you doing? How's the kids? All that. But then jump into your topic. Say, all right, hey, we're here to talk about this idea of running, this big sports camp deal. And so I want to bounce a couple of ideas off you. And I want to just try to go through these 2-3 things and then let you go home, let it think on it. We'll work on another meeting where we'll do some decision making. So you feed them what the topic is going to be, and you have them there in that environment, and you have that time set. Now, you then dive into and do some of those questions, and you dig in and get as much of them done as you possibly can. A couple things that you want to add at the end of your meeting then is when you are kind of done going through some things here, a few questions that you can sort of ask is one of them is, where do you think we could improve on this, or are some do you have like another idea? And this is almost like you're fishing for another topic to jump on later, or if it's a small one, we might be able to tackle it right there. But is there something that we can do to improve this? What are your thoughts there? Let me know what you're thinking. That is just a great way to kind of throw that thing out there and let them know. The other question that you want to ask, and this is always something with churches that's very, very important. As the leader of the church, you have a certain amount of power as far as scheduling and preaching and all the Sunday stuff and, some of that. One of the other powers that you have is the resource power. And that is like, we need a new whiteboard, or we've got to buy a megaphone, or we've got to, some of that. And I always ask when I'm in my meetings, are there any specific needs that we could take care of? Now, sometimes they have, we need a new church van. It's like, okay, $35,000. We'll get that knocked out. Sometimes though, it's very simple, like, hey, we need some markers. We're doing this thing, and we're going to need some markers for that. Could you provide some markers? We need some snacks. We need some of this. We need some things that you, as the pastor, as the leader, will have a lot of authority to make some of those things happen. At our church, if we were doing something and the team said, man, we'd really like to have some refreshments, man, I can stand up and say, folks, we're doing a thing at the park in 2 days. We need, 5 dozen cookies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. All right, make sure you bring those. Give them to Mrs. McGillicuddy over here, and we'll have a great thing. Thank you for cooking for the Lord. Okay, and it's done that fast. Where they have needs, they would have to think, I got to go buy cookies, and then I'll have to bake them myself, or there's a lot of things. So make sure that in your team meetings that you're always asking questions. And secondly, one of those questions would be, what are the needs that I can take care of? The last thing that I have kind of in the question area that I have learned is the whole idea of, while you're talking to them, and they kind of, where can we improve, and how's the schedule, and how are we progressing, and you go through all that stuff, and then you just simply say, is there anything else along this line we need to cover? Is there anything else? What else? This is sort of the simple question. It's a coaching question. What else? And the what else, like, we really need to, and they will spill the beans on something that is a little bit bigger thing. Lots of times people hold stuff in. While you're doing programmatic things and you're putting things together, they got this big knotty problem that they're not wanting to put out there and spoil the beans. And when you say, what else? They go, we really need to kind of change this or that, and this person's not working out there. And you might be able to help with that. So always ask those questions about their specific needs. How can we improve? And what else? And let them kind of pour those things out to you there. So also, at your meeting, at your agenda, there's one other thing that I try to add in my training times, and these are usually like 60 seconds at the end. So, for example, if I was meeting with my security team and we're going through kind of talking about the big egg hunt we're going to do, or the big Christmas event, we're going to need extra people outside and, vests and all sorts of different things like that. We'd be going through that kind of stuff. One of the things I like to do is I like to also put in a little bit of training, or what I would call retraining or reinforcing of training of something they already know. And you can kind of add that in. It's like you've just had a great meeting, great stuff, and you go, oh, by the way, hey, when you guys on Sunday are doing security, can you make sure that you guys walk all the way to the end of the parking lots and look down both sides? Because we're having more and more people here, and they're parking on the sides, and I just think we need to pay attention to those cars over there and make sure that everything's fine from the security standpoint. So if you guys could do that on Sunday, that would be great. Hey, thanks. All right, let's head home and, we've done this. Or let's close in prayer if you do that. Let's revamp what we're going through. You can do that. But you can do these little retraining type of things where you're kind of like helping someone out, and you're just saying, oh, don't forget when you sing those songs with the kids, make sure that you blah blah blah, and you tell the story, whatever that you need for you're reinforcing your training. So that's a great way. So all of this is building ministry teams. Now these are little tiny steps at the very smallest level, but many of this is designed for churches and the people I talk to, because they say I don't have anyone. So we want to spend some time talking about that. If you have established teams, they've been around for a long time, standing meetings, you got goals, objectives, and all your quality stuff that and you know what you're doing, then you're in good shape. So I do have something for you here that I want to make sure that you get in. We're recording this near the Easter season. It's about a month or so away from Easter. And we have something we call the 9-Day Easter Challenge. And you're going to want to make sure that you sign up for this. I will put the links beneath. And these are 9 simple little short training videos that we have produced that will help you in all aspects of having an amazing Easter service a set of services that whole Easter weekend. We have stuff going on Saturday, Sunday, we're very busy. So all of that is found in the 9-Day Easter Challenge. I'll make sure that you have the link right at the bottom of this if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're watching this in our podcast thing. We should put this in the show notes. It should be right down there at the bottom. Be able to click on that, and then you can go to that. As always, if you have a question, we have an address called info@reachkeep.com, and you can log in or do your email and info@reachkeep.com and ask any question. And we spend a lot of time. You don't have to be part of our academy or part of our coaching university, all that kind of stuff. We answer a lot of questions. We're here for you. That's the bottom line, is we are here for you. So anyway, I had my glasses on so I could read my notes, but God bless you guys. It is a blessing to be with you, and you have a great week serving the Lord with gladness. Make sure that you hit the old like button on this if this has been helpful to you. Appreciate it. And if you've not subscribed on YouTube, there's a little tiny square, I think, right over here that you can click the old button on, a little red square, and you can subscribe. And this will get this kind of training to you on a regular basis. So anyway, from me to you, God bless, and serve the Lord with gladness. And we will catch you next week here at the Better Sundays Podcast.